All right. Obviously good to get back out on the field. Had an extra day, this week, so guys were able to rest up a little bit more this weekend. We had one practice. Yesterday was our off day. Back out here today was great energy. Our guys, thing we're emphasizing is, being able to come out and come out with an unbelievable purpose for what we're trying to accomplish. And all we're trying to accomplish is each day to get a little bit better individually, collectively as a offense and a defense, special teams units, and then overall as a football team. There are a lot of mistakes that we have to get cleaned up. I was extremely proud of our guys, as I mentioned after the game, for the effort that they gave, the resolve that was shown, the character, and just the heart that they have for each other. I mean, it was a phenomenal game. To see our guys respond from 17 points down 3 different times, they never gave up any hope. There was never any fret, and they just continued to play the game. So I was really proud of our football team. A lot of great individual efforts, but collectively as an overall football team was something that I was really proud of.
When you come off an emotional game like that, an emotional 5-day stretch, really, how do you keep them focused on this weekend?
Well, yeah. At this point of the year, it's always emotional. Every game's emotional because every game matters. You get into conference play, playing divisional opponents. There's a tremendous sense of urgency to improve, tremendous sense of urgency to continue to put your best foot forward because this football team, all we've accomplished is put ourselves in a position that every game truly matters. And it matters. One of the biggest things going into last week was securing bowl eligibility. That's our 4th straight year. That's something that this group of seniors, they're going to be able to say that for the rest of their lives. They were a part of the winningest group to ever come through, this football program, and that they were able to go to a bowl game each year. And I take a great deal of pride in that because it also guarantees one more opportunity they're going to be able to play together. And this team loves each other. They understand that there's a lot of work that goes into it, and they understand that everybody's got a piece of it. And whether it's a redshirt freshman or a 5th-year senior, everybody has to pay the price. And so that's what the big focus on this week is. We've got to continue to improve. Yes, like I said, every game's emotional. That was a 60-minute battle. Well, the week before was also a 60-minute battle. And so, I thought our guys responded in a great way. And we're going to have to do the same because we got a football team that's coming in here that's extremely well coached, that is talented with explosive playmakers, and it's going to take our best effort.
How did you finally get through to the team? You got your penalties lower this past weekend than they have been. So you've been talking about playing more discipline. How did you finally get through this?
It's really the message hasn't changed. The buy-in to it has, and that's something that early in the season we had the penalties that really bothered me were the personal foul ones early that showed up. Those have gone down drastically throughout the year. Our guys are playing with better control, but we talked about it in our team meeting the other day that if we would have had 8 or 9 penalties in that game, we probably wouldn't have won it. But because to see that our discipline helped put us in a position to be successful was huge. I always tell guys about talk about the effort that's given. You never know when the effort is going to be the difference in the game. You watch Patrick Taylor's tackle there on the interception right before half. Effort showed up to win a football game. It was a 4-point game. Our defense, they went out and they were giving the ball at the 12-yard line. Our defense held them to a field goal. So many plays throughout that game, effort showed up to put us in a position. And that makes me as proud as anything because you can see the passion which our guys play with, and that's got to continue and improve.
Coach, speaking of Patrick Taylor and the running back situation, Patrick emerging as he could be an every down back, he's got the size. A little bit about his game and how the other guys are doing coming up in.
I love that group. A lot of versatility. Patrick's a guy that's a bigger back, ran with a lot of physicality, which I was proud to see. Was able to make a couple of nice cuts in the open field. I thought him and Tony, we were down, Dorland wasn't able to make the trip. And then when Darryl went down, we're down really to 2 backs. And, I like being in a lot of 20 personnel. So you had Tony and Patrick both on the field at the same time for a good amount. And those guys, they really sucked it up and went out and played at a high level. It was great to see see the success they had. Tony had a phenomenal game as a receiver. Patrick, there as a running back, doing what he did. And it's good to see that, those guys are reliable no matter who's in. You've seen Darrell has had a great season. Patrick Dorland, there at UConn was over 100 yards. So we've had a lot of guys that have stepped up and played at a high level. But, we know it's going to take all of them, and hopefully we can get all of them back on the field at the same time now.
Do you think you might get Darrell back this week?
Yeah, we're hopeful. I mean, we're hopeful that Darrell and hopefully Dorland as well. And if we can have all of them, that allows us to stay fresh, allows us to be more multiple, and so that's something that we'll see as the week progresses.
How was that plane ride back with Memphis?
It was great. I mean, and the locker room was wonderful. Our kids, they expected to win. And even when it was 17-0, they knew it was going to be a grind, and they knew they were going to have to go out there and get it. And so, because nothing's given to you, and when you're able to set your eyes and your focus on accomplishing a goal, man, all that matters is going to get that goal. And no matter if it's a steep hill you have to climb, 17 points 3 different times, adversity, whatever, being on the road, no matter what shows up, you've got to respond, and you've got to do everything that it takes to get to the top of the mountain of where we're trying to go. And the mountain last week was to try to go 1-0 on the road at Houston. And that was a place that, I think they had one of the top home winning percentages in the last couple of years. They haven't lost a whole lot of games at home, and so for us to do that in the fashion that we did, that was big. And now this week, the mountain we need that we've got to focus on is to try to be 1-0 against Tulane. And there's going to be challenges here. There's going to be adversity that shows up, and we got to do the steps necessary to be prepared to win it.
Playing an offense like Tulane's, is it helpful that you play Navy so recently?
They're so different. I mean, they're yes, they like to run a football. Yes, they're option based. Yeah, they want to control the clock. Their play action pass, but it is very different presentation. So for us, it's not going to be a whole lot of carryover in a sense to it, but you got to play assignment football. You got to be physical. You got to be physical at the point of attack, and we got to try to be able to steal some possessions by creating takeaways.
Played the last 2 weeks. What went into the decision to start playing him the last?
Yeah, Carlito's a very talented young man, and he's a young man that is going to be a great player here. He works extremely hard. His status was up in the air for the better part of the season, and then when right before the UConn game, he actually got the waiver the day of, and we weren't able to get him to UConn in time. But he's played the last couple of weeks, done a really nice job on special teams. His defensive role is going to continue to increase, and I think he's going to be able to help us here down the stretch.
Mike, are you learning more about what Anthony Miller can do, like over these last 3 weeks and the production he's had, or what more have you learned about him?
We've got a great relationship. It's one that I love coaching Anthony because he wants to be coached. He wants to be pushed. There's no off days when we step on that field. If there's something that he's not doing to the standard which I think he does, I make sure he hears about it. And but he embraces that. I think as you sit back and you watch his performance, he made a lot of great plays, and he's continuing to make a lot of great plays when the game's on the line, when you have to have it. He's there to respond. And but the thing I love is that he treats the first play as the most important play. And if there's things that show up that are not up to his standard or our standard, he goes to work to get them improved, to get them fixed and to improve as a player. Which is when you're a top player, sometimes that's harder to find out there. But that's what makes him special.
Coach, if you could talk a little bit about what TJ has done and just continuing to play at a high level, even though he's just a youngster.
Yeah, TJ, I thought that this game for him was a remarkable one because it was, the production speaks for itself. I think he was named, somebody just told me he's named the Conference Defensive Player of the Week, well-deserved. 14 tackles, played with great physicality. He had the forced fumble, which was huge, a want-to play, trust in technique, and just giving effort to get the ball out, and then the big interception to seal it. But the thing that goes unnoticed is that there was actually a couple plays against him that didn't work out so well. There was a couple touchdown catches or a third down conversion, a touchdown catch. A lot of young freshmen at that point would focus on what they didn't do. TJ focused on the next play that was going to be necessary, that was going to be the most important one in the game. And so that maturity that he shows, he's got a lot of dog in him. I mean, he likes to compete. He's not going to step on that field without giving his absolute best. And that's that competitive spirit that we look for. We knew that he had when we recruited him, but to see that show up, play in and play out, I'm really, really proud of his performance. All right, guys, thank you.